So this video is the continuation from the last demo because I was rudely interrupted. My internet rudely interrupted my playtime on this video and just decided to voluntarily go down because I already know why that is. You have to maintain your internet. So whoever's in charge of the Verizon, they decide to, during that period, do their system checks. I believe there are system checks like 3 times a day, maybe even more, if not two. But I believe that there are 3 system checks per each 8 hours or something like that. But I'm continuing this where I last left off. This is going to be played in June. I came to an agreement with myself. The agreement of myself being what I actually want to play during June and what I should be playing during June. And I realized I've been playing nothing but horror games and fighting games and action adventure games. And last time I played an actual detective game or any form of investigation or puzzle verse game was the summer of 2024 or whenever the last I played Return of the Obra Dinn. But that was way before October. So it's been quite some time since I've got back into detective work. So that's what I'm doing. I believe it's best mentally for me to play a game that's consistent with where my headspace is right now. I think just crowding it with more action-based games is kind of taking away from me actually understanding things based on perception and thought and thinking things in certain ways. Like it's very healthy to play a game that allows you to actually use real world skills, like real world thinking, real world problem solving, real world deductions, rather than a game that's simply based on hand-eye coordination or um, calculations based on algorithms or calculations based on stacking effects, or best effects or best builds. So I believe a nice little more quiet game that requires more of a mental aptitude rather than a physical aptitude is needed at the moment. So I'm going to put this in front of Doom Eternal simply because I want to have a more of a smooth ride in June before July comes. And I also have to finish Gravity Rush 2. So I still need to finish Gravity Rush 2, the last section, and I still need to finish Assassin's Creed DLC. Well, not DLC, Assassin's Creed Liberation. So those are going to be completed in June. So I complete games. I don't just ignore them unless they're part of a demo, which I already make an assessment on the demo whether that game is worth playing. I don't have to fully complete a demo. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Once I come to a conclusion that a demo is good, then I purchase it or I don't. But I've purchased 2 actually active games this year, and this is one of them. Worth about $4, I believe. $3 and change after tax, $4 for right now. And the game before that was the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Every other game I've played or streamed on this channel have been games I've had before in the past, but I've never actually streamed them. So that said, maybe I have done one purchase an early game in January or maybe in February, but did not mean that there's only 3 games I've purchased for since January going all the way to now June. I typically only buy 4 games a year, So the next time I'll purchase a game might all be in either September or in October of 2025. Every other game will be games I already have from the past of my archive. So let me just continue this, otherwise I'll keep talking. I do have the free item giveaway today in Warframe, so I only have like 30 minutes of this to do this demo. So let's continue where we last left off. Our task at hand, we completed the task with regards to this woman.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
And we've discovered that, or should I say, I've discovered, not we, she's not involved, the cop's not involved, me, Sherlock Holmes, or me and Sherlock, have discovered that Mr. Blackhair was killed, possibly at night, and the wife discovered the body at 10 a.m. in the morning. She woke up around 7, or she went outside around 7. Didn't wake up around 7. She went outside around 7, but she didn't bother to go into the barn until 10 a.m. She had a rosary, which means she came from Plymouth, and he married her in Plymouth while he was still working as a whale hunting person before he retired. I discovered this through the many things she had on this table while she was doing her gardening, and the fact that she had a rosary on her, and specifically rosaries of that design comes from a specific church that's located in Plymouth. So this assumption is based on that is accurate, and my assumption based on evidence presented put it as a pilgrimage. So I got that answer correct. So who killed them is still unknown. A bunch of footprints on the floor doesn't really mean anything, but he did have a visitor that were wearing large boots. Now, it's safe to say if the person had large feet, whatever they were wearing, whether they have small feet or big feet, was large. So they were wearing large shoes. It's more than likely a person who was wearing large shoes would be a person who's either has large feet, and that usually comes from a hereditary trait, or build up large feet from doing manual labor from younger age to an older age, that your legs just get large. So the person is either a heavy set person or a lighter set person, but also have large bones, which means it makes more likelihood that the person could have been a whale hunting person from back in the past, or somebody who's not a whale hunting person. That's just someone random. It's unlikely it will be anyone from our church, seeing the fact that those who go on pilgrimages walk around a lot, and it's highly unlikely that someone who has that large of feet will be someone within the church, unless they're tall guys or big guys who are in the church, or priests who are in the church. So everything seems to be leading more up to the fact that it's either someone we haven't seen before or someone from his prior job before. So let me talk to one of the officers if they're even going to communicate whatsoever at all. So I'm glad that I at least got one of the first answers to a question correct on my own.
Mr. Holmes?
Before Holmes made his deduction. So cops can't say anything to you. They're just present in the game. Okay, so there's no map in the game. There's objectives, there's tasks, and I have 2 more tasks to complete. investigate the murder of Peter Carey, and inspect crime scene. Woodlands Lee. Well, I am still investigating, so next stop is Woodlands Lee. But wait a minute, there is a map. What am I talking about? Baker Street is where Holmes' residence is. Woodlands Lee is here, where I'm here. So I'm here. So at present, I should use my powers to look around. Well, it's not really powers, it's power of observation. He just has more of a keen perception with regards to things than normal. Okay, so these are the footprints I saw before. The sound of the animals, the rushing water. Now if this means anything. It's the forest. It's woods. All these things, rushing water, all that stuff would mean something if it was relevant towards the crime. But is this nature added in the game? Dragonflies or flies? So nothing. One thing I have noticed, certain sounds can only be heard from a great distance once you're in visual perception mode. And once you take it off, it goes away. It's very loud around here. That doesn't really mean anything. Alright, let me use my other ability. Power of imagination. It was kind of like Witcher.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Well, nothing's outside, so might as well proceed on the inside. But maybe right before that, anything outside the cabin around here? Just have to manage the time. Alright.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Interesting. He locked it yesterday so no one could tamper with the evidence. What time did he lock it yesterday? Unknown. It has to be after 10 a.m. because nowhere the cops could come there exactly, like say 10:05 or 10:10. Let's say they got here around 11 o'clock. Saw the body at 11, closed it at 11. It'd still be morning time. So, from, let's say from the time period of 11 going to the following day, following morning when I show up, that's a huge amount of hours between then and there. But knowing how cops are, it's hard to believe that they were just there for 1 hour. Let's say they got there around 11 o'clock, from 11 to 12, and they left at 12. And then locked it around 12. And let's say they didn't leave any police presence at the scene of the crime for an hour, 2, or even 3. But they all left altogether. So from 12 to whenever, still a lot of period of time, long period of time. But let's say during the whole process of them being here, whenever they showed up, someone was watching. From the woods. Nice little nesting place to hide yourself so no one could see you. Keep your distance. Maybe a telescope, binoculars, and they came directly after 12 and try to force things open and get inside. But if they try to force things open to get inside, it would show, like it just does, that they were trying to force things open. So why would they do that and leave it there when they were trying to force it open, rather than to try to lockpick it? Unless they already got what they wanted, force whatever they were trying to get from the body, close it, locked it, and they don't care whether someone finds it, that it was being forced open or not. Very sloppy work by whoever it is. Perhaps the person was never able to get inside, but tried to. Which means it makes more sense that it would probably be her. She would probably try to force to go see her dead husband. Which makes it more likely that there were no police presence during the time they locked it. That's an assumption, but let's say there were cops here, then she wouldn't be able to force it. So there have to be a time period for when the cops or any patrolman standing guard left post, and the person, let's say her, came there when he left post. Otherwise he would have saw her. So that's what I'm going with. There were no patrol guards on post at the scene of the crime after death. Or there was one, but he wasn't there all the time. Want to get something to eat. Let's say she made him some cookies and milk, as he was standing up there all day. And during that period, she went to knock on the door. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with there was someone on post, or there weren't someone on post, and it was either the woman or someone, since no one did the gardening except Black himself within this vicinity in the woods who was watching. So I'll see for myself. But first, if the person did go to the door to open the door, they had to walk around here in order to get up to the door. So
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
yes, seems so. Eh. Let's see. He's standing on the soil of the ground. He's standing on stones. Not suspicious. It's part of the process of the game. It's probably intended for him to stand there. Okay.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Now, a mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
The mysterious stranger came here last night. Well, if he was killed yesterday, and in the morning she showed up and discovered his body at 10 a.m., and then these guys show up, if it was last night that, like, so the crime happened yesterday, and they came, I'm assuming, before 12 o'clock. And it's just like I said, from the time period of 12 to the following day, where Holmes was called to show up. It's more likely he showed up in the afternoon, late afternoon, or in the evening, or even at night. Which now makes it more than likely that there was a police person here for a certain period of time, and then they left, and then he showed up at night. I'm not totally ruling out the woman, but at least now I have at least one spotlight. That is the wife itself. The wife herself. And secondary spotlight, which is a very dim one. Our mysterious stranger.
What a terrible way to die.
There are no good ways to die. but terrible ways. Gunshot wounds, shot, blown up. They're all terrible. Okay, so if someone was to force this door open, and let's say they got inside, to tamper with evidence, are there any mirrors in here? Or anything that you could touch that would leave a fingerprint? Let's start with the most obvious. We'll start from left going to right. First we'll use this. I can't use L1, but I can use R1. Anything within the map reflective of what's outside the door. It could be one of those type of things. Doubt it. Okay, so this is the map of maybe his whole job, previous life, whale hunting. Different locations. It went north and south.
Dundee.
Okay.
Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
No shit. So he would keep something to remind him of his past deeds, locations. At least now I have 2 locations attached to the dead man. So if there was someone associated with him from the past, this could give me some idea of where that person might have been. Let's try something else. Shelf. Suspicious empty. Let's just start with this first. Let's see, 1. And we work on the hidden afterwards. The obvious first.
The tooth of a sperm whale. Probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Okay, and then it ends there with the sperm whale. And then hidden underneath this, or part of the shelf, is the obvious outline in the dust.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book, a box or a small chest, perhaps.
Very good. So, makes sense. The room is kind of dusty because it's been here for a while, but there's no dust there because something was taken from there. Now, let's say for instance that the person came in and took that object during the period of the night when no one was here, or it happened previously before the crime happened. The person took it, killed Peter, and left. Which will still mean it would be a little bit less dusty than every other place. So that still would make it not as dusty. Alright, so chest. Chests are typically associated with treasure or personal effects. Something of importance. Looks like a lot of whaling map stuff. Some bed. Trophies.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. The ship...
Sea Unicorn, huh?
The ship's...
1878.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Oh, if the boots match the prints on the floor or on the grass, then it's Peter Carey himself, his own personal boots. But if it's larger, then it's someone else's boots. I mean, it would make sense that it would be Peter Carey's boots. He is the one that does the gardening, so not suspicious at all. Navigation logs.
Old navigation instruments. Nothing interesting.
Okay. Let's use some mines. Shelf. Okay. Nothing here. Okay. Nothing here.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Yes. He is very passionate about that ship. He decided to have it right on his wall. I wouldn't be surprised if the entire wall itself was cut out straight from the ship itself. Alright, so now we're going to go left side. Nothing here. There's more Sea Unicorn stuff. A lot of sails. Even though he retired, he still loved his looking at his ship stuff and his achievement from the past.
Rum. A sailor's drink. Someone drank from this glass recently. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Someone drank from this. Obviously, it's Captain Carey.
Someone drank from this glass recently.
Peter Carey.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Okay, so this is going to take a while. I'm going to have to stop it here. It's a ship, obviously. Let's see here. So he's imagining the ship itself to get a clear picture. Thought I had it there for a moment. Move tobacco leaf. Drag it. Yeah, this is going to take a little while. I'm dragging it. Yeah, to fix the ship together. Yep, I'll have to continue some other time. I have a free item giveaway that starts around 8 o'clock. So as much as I would love to do this, I have to skip it for right now. Yes.
Yes, this is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Coarse tobacco. So where would you get that? Okay, so there are places of these things are discovered. So this
Rum, a sailor's drink.
didn't say where the rum is from. Pair of boots. So last but not least is our gentleman himself. Anything specific on him?
This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
Of course, he was a sailor man. He had to be strong to course sails. Pool of blood. Pool of blood. Peter Carey's clothes.
Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer.
He was fully dressed. So he decided to go inside his cabin, have a drink. So he wasn't having a relaxing day, taking off his clothes in his house, caught by surprise. He either came in here most recently when it happened, or he knew the person was going to show up. Notebook. Well, notebooks like this been around since 1900s, huh? I see notebooks like this in freaking Target shops and Walmarts. Surprise, surprise that these type of notebooks have been around for that long. Since the early 1900s. Or maybe since the late 1900s. Either way, it's more than 100 years old. Alright. Nothing. Metal knife.
This wooden handle is plain and solid.
The wooden handle of the knife itself.
This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, also, but what doesn't make sense is that he came to a conclusion that Peter Carey was trying to defend himself with it, without knowing that Peter Carey was actually carrying the knife or not. It's just a deduction.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense.
Alright.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon. This man is in his 50s.
Alright. That's all I could do for today. So, what have I learned? He's still holding on to his past glories. He created a room to commemorate it. He had something in the chest that was of value that someone took. Um, Whoever was here. He drinks a lot, which explains the reason he is always in a drunken rage, as stated by his wife. There are 2 glasses here. Otherwise, if he was just drinking by himself, he wouldn't need 2. He would only drink 1, so there was someone else here. Or it was staged to make it look like there was someone else here. But there was no fingerprints with regards to what was drinking. If it was him, it was obviously him drinking, but no presence of someone else tampering. But it seems quite evident that someone else was here. So a drink was probably poured for someone. Whether they touched it or not is a different story. There was a knife on the floor. No evidence that Peter Carey actually picked it up or not. But Holmes deduced that he was trying to defend himself with the said knife before he got stabbed, without knowing that he actually picked up the knife or not. It's not like his fingerprints is on it or anything, but this is before forensics, so it's more likely that he was trying to, or should I say, this is before forensic science that's used in more current times. So it makes sense that he was actually probably trying to defend himself with that knife. Or the enemy had the knife and he knocked it out of the enemy's hands, and the enemy managed to shove the harpoon into his body. Which means in order to have that amount of force for a harpoon to go straight through somebody's body, you would have to be extremely strong. Because he did say the blow was powerful. So he'd have to be extremely strong. Or have something on you that could make the blow happen, like a harpoon gun, but that would have to be something very large, and it's unlikely that you could move around with a harpoon gun like it's nobody's business. So something was used to lodge it deep into the body. So let's say he was stabbed prior, killed prior, then post up against the wall to make it look like he got harpooned. So it's either one or 2 things. One, the person actually used extreme force, which means the person was more powerful than someone in his 50s who looked like he was in shape for someone in his 50s, which means the person is probably younger than him, or the person is around his age was much bigger than him and larger than him, thus the footprints with regards to the boots. But if it turns out to be Peter Carey's personal boots there, that rules out the boots. So it has to be someone younger than him and stronger than him, or at least someone bigger. Turns out to be the wife or anything, then it would have to be something she used to create the blow first, and to stage everything. Either way, it seems more likely that it was more of a foe that's more stronger than him, which kind of rules out the wife, but not completely as of yet. So I'll have to pick this up some other time. Whatever. What else? Sea unicorn and locations. So the only true evidence I could find that could lead me to whoever this person is, the killer is, are 2 locations on his whaling map. That and maybe, well, the compass is not. That and maybe where you could find harpoons. It's not like you could just have harpoons around your place unless his harpoons was his own. But it's more than likely that the map location for which he previously worked are 2 possible locations that our killer could be at. Who knows? I'm not ruling out the police involvement in this, but it's more likely that this is based on old-timey logic. So the cops being killers and stuff is not something that will fall into the whole motif of old school crime stories. So it's not likely it's any of them. All right. I am curious of why he's standing on that rock though, but it's probably just the design of the game design themselves. Just decided to put him there. Doesn't mean anything whatsoever at all. So, yeah. One good lead and a map associated with a possible lead. Lead is that the map and the person who used the harpoon to kill him has to be at least decent amount of strength in order to do so, to get the job done. Or someone who's pretending to have strength to stage something. It's more likely it's more obvious. The most obvious is the one that's the real one. But I at least know 2 places I could go after this based on the evidence. So I'll call it a day for right now. I gotta hop on Warframe in like 5 minutes. I will buy this game though. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna buy this game today. It's about $5, no, $4 right now, and I'll play this in June instead of Doom Eternal. I'll push Doom Eternal back to July, as it makes more sense for me to logically get back into the groove of puzzles and deductions and that type of stuff. Use my brain a little rather than always killing things and blowing shit up.